My guest today is Sander Jennings, 23 from Florida, who you may recognize from the TV show I Am Jazz with his incredible family and famous sister Jazz, who has been an inspiration to transgender people around the world, but especially trans kids. And Sander himself is this unique, amazing advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. I've been following his posts and I love his unfaltering positivity. And I want to talk about that with him today. Thank you so much for being here, Sander.
Thanks. I'm really glad to be here, and I appreciate the introduction.
Well, I think you the main thing I get from everything I see on media that you put out is positivity. I mean, you're not oh doom and gloom. It's all about looking at the brighter side and how to turn things around. What keeps you being so positive, and what advice would you give to somebody? You know, you're 23 years old. How do you stay positive? A lot of people at your age have difficulties. They're going through a lot.
Yeah, so in general, I actually recently came to this realization that I have the ability to turn anything negative into something positive. I could turn anything into some sort of positive motivation for me. Something bad happens, it motivates me in some other way. Like, so I've just kind of found that act, and that's how I am. It's like I'm able to turn anything negative into something positive. Of course, obviously, sometimes it takes days, it takes time. Not everything you could just get over and turn and smile all the time. I have my struggles, my tough days, my tough hours, some mental health struggles as well. But for the most part, I'm always able to come out of that because I could put a positive spin on anything. Um, and my first piece of advice to anyone who's just like maybe struggling with something is put one foot in front of the other. That incorporates one, getting out of bed on time, because if you stay in bed all day, you're stuck in your thoughts. So that's first step in putting one foot in the other. Then you're out of bed. Now you just keep moving forward each and every time during the day. Um, I know also on my social media I post a lot of workout videos, and one thing I personally live by, and the reason I love working out, is not just to get bigger and huge. I don't care too much about the physical aspects. I like staying fit, obviously. It's more that if I do one thing each day to get better, then I feel like it was a successful day. And working out, as long as I do that, then at least I did one thing to get better. So I have these different philosophies in my head that kind of just helps me stay positive. And I think everyone could kind of create their own ideas and versions for themselves of what positivity is to them.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great advice. I will say on mental health, since you brought it up, there are times I've had it when I needed to seek professional help, you know, somebody outside myself. But these are great tools. If you're not overwhelmed, you're not in a place that you need additional help. I love it. I love What is your workout like? What do you do
So
typically?
So I've switched it up a little. During COVID, I decided I wasn't going to go to the gym anymore, and I started doing backyard workouts. I have some weights in the back, and I like to incorporate a lot of like movements and just fast movements, dance type movements, things that make me smile while I'm doing the workout for my cardio warm ups. And for some people, that's a full workout. Then I also do weights. Now I'm back in the gym, so I'm doing a little bit less cardio. I'm trying to put on a little bit more bulk. And I just needed to get, now that like things are open up and I'm fully vaccinated and I feel comfortable being out in public like that, I really needed something to get me out of the house a little bit, because my mental health was dwindling because I would be home 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
And so it's like now I'm going to the gym to switch it up a little bit. But like I said, today I woke up, decided I wasn't going to go to the gym. Today I decided I'm going to do a backyard workout again. So it's kind of depends, but in general, I think anyone who is just starting to work out, try to find things that make you happy. And if you're looking for some of those things, check out all my workouts, because I've done like probably close to 50 now. And I have a lot of really fun ones for beginners and some that are more intermediate. It's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, where can they find all those? On your Instagram or everywhere? All your media stuff.
So they're on my. I started doing them as TikTok workouts, but it's harder to find on TikTok because I post more on TikTok than I do on Instagram. But on
Yeah.
Instagram, there's guides. So Sander underscore 54 on Instagram, or Sander underscore Jennings on TikTok. Those are two great places. I also posted one YouTube video of like a 10-minute full workout you could do with me. That one's funny if you really want to be motivated with me, because that was my first time trying that and I was really getting into it.
Awesome. Well, you're media savvy. I mean, how old were you when the show started?
Like 15, I think, 15 or
Yeah.
16.
So you're pretty media savvy, I'm sure, about how to do
Well,
this kind of thing.
Well, I got my master's degree in digital strategy. So I graduated with my undergraduate degree in 3 years. I'm a bachelor's in business. and I was planning on going directly to law school like my twin brother did. But then I just found this how I found this thing about influence that really just enticed me, the ability to influence people, but in positive ways. So my social media isn't really about, oh, I care so much about growth. The only reason I care about growth is because I want more influence and I want to be able to influence people. And I found this, the power of influence and power of my voice. I decided I was going to get a master's to one, help my personal brand, but also because I love to help businesses and other people kind of figure out how can they really create their own unique selling propositions and really grow using the power of specifically short form video and short form media, which has taken over. I predicted that 3 years ago that it would happen, and
Mm.
it's happening now today on a higher level, more and more each day. But just in general, like people being able to use their platforms for good and feel empowered to share their story. I think empowerment is super special and super cool. So that's kind of where my digital came in. And in college, I got involved in some stuff, um, like with some charities. I was doing some multimedia stuff, and then obviously with my personal brand. I don't like long form video though. I didn't like YouTube videos, so that's why I'm not on YouTube. I like creating short, fun, to the point messages that people can really resonate with.
Like 15 seconds, is that kind of the magic number for you, or what is the magic number?
Yeah, so 15 seconds is definitely a really good pillar. I like to do 12 to 18 seconds. I could go into days of talking about why certain
Mm.
strategies exist and why you should follow different things. I mean, everybody's different, but I find that people's attention span is you got to capture them in the first 3 seconds. And then after you capture them, they'll probably stick around for another 10 to 12 seconds if your content is resonating with them. Or if it's just they feel educated. And a lot of my stuff is educational and motivational as well.
Yeah. So give a piece of advice to some young person who's saying, I want to build a brand. I'm new, but what's the first one, two, three things they should be doing?
Well, I have a whole guide to help you grow that kind of
You
has that
did.
step. Yep, that's what I do. I did give actually use my social media and I gave it out to some people and sold it to a few people to a certain number, and then I was like, okay, this is kind of like I want to keep it. I want to
Sure.
see how it works with people. First step is feeling empowered, finding your niche and what makes you go and with your passions. Once you find those things, you want to do some research. You want to research what's going on in the industry related to the things that you're passionate about. And number three, just start. Don't worry about what people think. Because the thing that really held me back, like you said, you must have had a lot of experience. I didn't really start creating social media content until about 2.5 years ago, even though I had a decent following from the show. I was scared because of what people would say about me and because uh, I hadn't found my voice. I hadn't found my empowerment yet. Once I found it, so when I really started sharing my story, and then TikTok came along and I really started getting into it. Um, and now that's the persona you see out there today. And it's just me being my most authentic self. I do a lot of things that a lot of people aren't willing to do, but I'm comfortable with myself, so I do it.
I like everything. Every post I've seen, I've enjoyed. I think I think you really have a great voice, a great point of view. I think you're doing good, and sharing that positivity about all kinds of topics, But I really do like it. Tell me about being a twin. Griffin. Who's older, you or Griffin?
So I'm older by a minute, and I'm so thankful to have a twin brother to live my entire life with. We definitely bicker. We definitely have our ups and downs, but especially being apart from him because I'm on a different track and he's on a different track at this very moment. We believe our trajectories will move together, and one day we will be working together on something huge. And we do work on things here and there, but I'm so thankful to have a Griffin in my life. It's like just a best friend that no matter what happens, he's never going away. Um, the life of the twin is cool. Something I'm actually focusing on right now. You can only find it exclusively on TikTok as of now, but it will be coming to Instagram soon. Where the life of twins, like how we switched places in first grade, and how we can use each other's faces on iPhones. What was it like when we both liked the same girl at the same time? What did our
Oh
dad
wow.
tell us? Just a bunch of different interesting things that you don't really think about when you're not a twin, but when you're a twin, it happens.
I bet it does. I bet it does. So let's talk about another sibling, Ari. You've got this older sister. What is she like? What was it like growing up with her?
Yeah, Ari is so you don't get to see Ari as much on the cameras or in the videos. She doesn't love being in front of the camera. She likes to kind of stay in her own shell and do her own thing. But Ari is so cool, cool with the K. Um, like just having her as a sister is it's pretty incredible because she has just always been that role model to each of us as siblings. The role model for good and for bad. She's gone down whole different path. She hasn't really gone into social media at all. Either has Griffin really, but she has just kind of followed her passions. She's super smart. And like I said, she's cool with a K.
I like Cool with a K. I've never heard that. I like it though a lot. It's awesome. And your mom and dad, I mean, just like I said, your family's incredible. What are they like?
I mean, you get to see who mom and dad are like because I put them in a lot of the social content and they're in a lot of I am Jazz, but my parents are just the most supportive individuals. They love each other. They actually grew up next door neighbors and then were reconnected at a wedding at age like 20, and they instantly fell in love. We recently watched a video of my dad at my mom's brother's event at like age 13, and my dad was in the video. Like, so it's just cool to know like they always knew each other, but then they connected and found love. But they're just so supportive. Uh, they're fun. They aren't too strict. They never really have been. They've always kind of let me do my thing, but they've always guided me when we need them. They guide all the siblings when we need them. Um, I, Words can't really describe how awesome my parents are, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw some of your Father's Day posts. So I know I felt the energy that you have towards both your parents. It's pretty incredible. And so Jazz, very famous person. You got your whole family's famous, but Jazz is definitely in the front of that. How is that growing up with such a famous sibling? And what is Jazz like? I mean, yes, Jazz has been on TV. We've seen Jazz for a long time, but what is it like? What is she really like?
Jazz is just someone that like you meet and could easily just make you glow and radiate. Like she just is this person that encompasses so many different things. I like to say that she is the full package. She's intelligent, she's funny, she's sometimes annoying. She's really just got it all. What she puts out on her social media is really who she is, and what you see on TV really is who she is. But obviously, I get to see more of the behind the scenes stuff. And she's just it's cool to have a sister that you look up to that's younger than you. Like I look up to all my siblings, but like Jazz is obviously this inspiration hero, and she's really helped teach me what authenticity means. She's gotten me to where I am today in terms of my career because she inspired me to go follow this route. She helped me find my passions. She taught me what authenticity is, and so I decided I'm not going to go to law school. I'm going to go do this. Um, Living around Jazz, you get to see kind of some of the awkward things that you won't always see everywhere else, like some of just the things she does. Um, it's awesome. And you asked something in the beginning of that as well, didn't you? Before you asked like what is she like, you said something about what was it like having a famous sister?
Yeah.
Like we didn't come into this thinking we want to be famous. We wanted to save lives. We think, hey, if we could save one life, it's worth it. That's why we did the TV show. We Jazz doesn't want to be famous. She just wants to help create change, and that's kind of what the whole family's philosophy is. So I never really looked at it as, oh, I have a famous sister. It probably isn't until more recently when I started growing a following to that I'm like, wow, this is still 1/10 of what Jazz is, or 2/10 of what Jazz is. She has a really huge following. She has huge influence. But at the end of the day, I just look at her as my awesome slash sometimes annoying slash sister. Like,
I have a younger sister. I'm feeling everything that you said because she's my younger sister's Lisa, amazing, incredible, and annoying. So I
oh,
get that
but
$100%.
Me and Griffin are the ones who piss each other off the most. Ari's
Oh,
the Ari's the one that is the one that least amount of fights, least amount of annoyingness. But we're all annoying to each other because that's what sibling love is.
it is. It's like we can fight with each other, but anybody else coming after them, forget about it. We're all on top of them. I get it. I get it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know, um, the digital world is something that you're getting into. I mean, you've got your degrees. You're kind of mastering this. What are your dreams and hopes? Where are you going to take all that?
Yeah. So I have been consulting for a few companies, and then I knew that the show was coming back, so I didn't want to overwork myself too much. I still want to live my life and have some social periods where I'm not just always working. So kind of decided I wasn't going to launch my company yet, but I have a company that I'm working on called Digi Empower. which is focused on helping businesses and creators find their empowerment and then share that empowerment through the power of short form video and social media. So realistically, what I'd love to do is, as time goes on, and maybe not as much focus on my content and on the TV show, but more focus on actually helping others and consulting for them and giving them these strategies. I want to teach people how to use the power of short form video and how to use carousel posts to really share your message, because I want to encourage more people to feel empowered. Because, like I said, I had this whole message to share about allyship, and I didn't find my voice until later than I wish I had. I wish I could have found it a few years earlier, and been more vocal about my allyship, more vocal about who I was as a person. But I wasn't, because I didn't have someone to look up to and to show me. And for me, I'm trying to be that vocal out to other people, but also I'm trying to be that vocal leader in the digital space for any type of creator or any type of business who really has a positive message they want to share. And how can they do it? I want to help them. So that's where I realistically see the digital stuff going in the future. But right now, I'm still focused on my personal brand, I guess, because now the show's coming back. It's important that I'm going to have this platform to, it's going to be growing and being on TV show. And uh, as you probably saw, I'm Jazz season 7. We're coming back,
I
and
know.
I know what we're talking about. I can't spill the beans, but I am going to have a really big voice on this season and sharing some messages that are on my social media and some that no one's ever really seen, probably shared anywhere in the world. So I'm really excited for kind of where, how much I could help and inspire people going forward.
I'm excited for you, Sandra, because I think you do have a very strong, unique voice that's going to reach people that nobody else is going to be able to reach. So I'm very excited about that and excited about the show. What do you think is the biggest misconception of people about the LGBTQ plus community?
Yeah, so I like to say I have a few statistics in my head. So first of all, people think being LGBTQ plus is a choice. They think being transgender is a choice. That's not true. But one thing I also like to include in that is being an ally is a choice. And a lot of people say you support your sister and you're doing all this allyship stuff because you have to. It's your sister. No, the true reality is a lot of LGBTQ plus people aren't supported by their family, aren't supported by their siblings. That's why we don't see that many vocal siblings out there, which is what I'm trying to do and be the role model for. So I think that's a big kind of misconception, a big thing that people really need to recognize. And this message doesn't just go towards the LGBTQ plus community. This message is for the allies, because the other number two thing is, according to a statistic, 5.6% of people identify as LGBTQ plus. It's obviously a little higher because some people just don't come out of the closet and whatnot. Let's just say there's 90% of people can be allies. So I feel that responsibility to try to reach that 90% of people, because there's not that many people, because 99.9% of posts related to the LGBT plus community is coming from the LGBT plus community. There's not enough allyship. And so the first thing I said about allyship being a choice, super important, and then recognizing how much of a minority the LGBT plus community is super important. And then also recognizing that allyship saves life. One accepting adult can decrease an LGBTQ plus young person's risk of suicide by 40%. For me, I might be that one accepting adult to a lot of people out there, because they might not have one and they see my social media. And imagine if there was thousands and thousands of people posting like I do as an ally, then the risk of suicide hopefully would decrease. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's kind of, I don't know if it's a misconception, but it's the message.
I love the message, and no, not a misconception. I think your voice is very loud about come join this coalition, because allies is a choice. And I think that's a great message that you're sharing, especially siblings. I mean, you don't hear a lot about siblings coming to the sides of their rainbow family, if you will. So I think it's great. I love it. I love it. I love it.
But there's
So
a sibling for everyone. That's the craziest part. Like, usually someone doesn't like. Obviously, there are only childs out there. There are people who just like are an only child, but in most cases, I don't know the statistic, but maybe I should look it up. Usually, they'll have a sibling. So I don't know why we don't see more siblings being vocal allies. I understand if they're supportive and whatnot, but there needs to be a new level we're taking this to, because the LGBT plus community is facing so much hate and discrimination. And like I said, I wasn't vocal with my allyship, and I'm not here to say I've been doing it for 10 years. This has been a 2, 3 year thing that I started doing, and I've really worked my way into becoming more comfortable and talking more and deeper into topics. But if I had had that role model for myself, which I don't know if you know any like siblings who are just like vocal and they've been vocal for a very long time, but I just haven't seen it. It probably is, but I just haven't seen it. But I definitely would have loved to see it before.
I can't bring any to mind. I'm sure there are, but to me, you are sort of leading the charge and rallying the troops, if you will. Come on out. Come on. There's lots of rights being stomped on. There's lots of discrimination, particularly in the trans community. You know, there's a lot of people have been attacking them a lot of late. So I think keep calling forth the troops, getting them out, not just on the sidelines, but get on the field. I think
Yep.
that's what you're saying, right?
Not just on the sidelines, get on the field. Allyship is not something that you just bystand. It's active. It's allowed. Um, you have to be willing to actually do the work. Like, listen, I'm not saying everyone you can't be an ally if you don't post on social media once a week, if you don't post on social media, but just doing one or zero, that's kind of tough. But at the very least, you need to be advocating, you need to be listening, you need to be educating yourself. But to really move the needle forward, we need more active allies who are sharing their journeys and their stories um, online. Obviously, that always comes with a little bit of scrutiny, though, for a guy like me. It's like, oh, you're taking up space, you're doing this, and listen, I'm always trying to create space and create safe spaces, and there is an important message to reach that 90%, like I said. So when people say that, I always try to take a step back, and I'm always trying to amplify. But at the same time, I have to be able to share my message and be willing to share my message if we're going to get more allies out there.
I, I I I get when some people say, "Oh, he's taking up space." Here's the thing that I think about that kind of language is I want people to take space. The space increases. The more voices there are, the more people hear it and the space gets larger. I really do believe that, you know, being on the
Limitless.
go ahead.
It's a limitless space. There's
Limitless.
who sets the boundaries. The whole goal is, like I said, let's bridge the gap. That 90% who can be allies, let's get all 90%. Then that 10%, now we're all in this together. Then we fill the space. And then the
Right.
space is filled. Um, Obviously the 10%, the people who identified in the LGBT plus community are always going to have the loudest voices. They're going to be the ones that we all look up to. Before I post a lot of my content, I'm talking to someone in the community and asking them for help. In a recent video, people are making a comment about the fact that my hair changed. Why did my hair change? Because I sent the video to one of my friends who identifies in the community, and they gave me a suggestion. So I fixed up the video with their suggestion. So people are like, "Oh, you did this in 3 days." Like, "Oh, this is terrible." I'm like, "No, you know what I did? I was being a good ally, and I was listening, and I was like allowing someone else's messaging within my message."
Yeah. Don't let those voices, you know, there's always going to be some voices that are coming antagonistically towards you. Just don't if it has genuine a genuine critique about maybe improving or something like that, but if it's just an attack, I would ignore it, Sander, because I get it. I've gotten some of that. So and I'm sure Jazz has. Ignore it. It doesn't feed you. I have so much energy in the day. I'm not spending energy on that. I'm just
No,
not.
I agree. That is what I try to do. But I also try to take some of it in, like you said. Sometimes there's partial truth to things people say,
Sure.
um, and sometimes there's partial truth, but that truth doesn't inflict on the true reality and the importance of the things that I have to say and get out there because it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I've so enjoyed our conversation. Is there any one last thought you want to share with everybody?
I just want everyone to know, like, be your most authentic self and be proud to be you. Everyone's valid. If you look behind me, we got flags for all different identities, and I got different ones downstairs. Um, so everyone just be proud to be you. Continue spreading love, positivity, and joy to the lives of others. You are going to have tough days. We all do. But at the end of the day, try to turn that negativity into a positive spin.
Very well said. Where can they find you? Tell us all the locations around the internet that we can find you.
Yeah, so I'm definitely most active on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram, Sandra underscore 54, TikTok, Sandra underscore Jennings. I'm also on Twitter, Sandra underscore Jennings. That's where I could use some loyal people because I'm smaller on there. When I post stuff, sometimes the people don't know me, so I get tagged. I'm like, man, people are ridiculous, but it's whatever. I have YouTube. I post some YouTube shorts. Most of it's all repurposed content, though. Sometimes I'll come out with a long video, so you can always check me out there. Um, and I don't have an OnlyFans. Sorry to break it to you all.
That's funny. Well, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing because I think what you have to say is very important, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you. I actually applied to be on the circle in the first season, and they said, "Oh, you're on the." They were like, "Oh, you're already on a TV show," and they didn't want like anyone that was already known. In the second season, I thought I had a connection to potentially have another chance, but I don't know because that's what I love, like digital strategy and like
Yeah.
that being on reality TV, like two things together. So it's cool that you were on there. Cool,
Yeah,
cool stuff.
it was a incredible experience. And you're talking about the digital strategy. I had 109 followers on Instagram, and then I shot up to 120 whatever thousand, and overnight felt like. And so I'm learning the digital strategy. I'm navigating the waters, making mistakes, but having a blast.
Well, you know who to call if you ever need any strategy advice or anything like that. And who knows, maybe one day I'll get on the circle.
They're casting again, so I
And
don't know if
I'll
you've.
apply again.
Oh,
That's
you
what I
applied
told my
again. Okay.
sponsor. Yep.
Okay.
We'll
All
see if they
right.
come back out. I don't know though.
Fingers crossed for you. But thanks so much, and congratulations on season 7. And I can't wait to watch it, and can't wait to see all the other things you're gonna come up with.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.